Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here at the home of Mr. Truman Owens today and talk with him about his very well-deserved induction into the National Federation of High Schools Hall of Fame as a sports official. One of those rare things that happens only to the best of the officials across the state. And Truman, I think you told me that there's only 4 other officials that have been inducted in South Carolina.
3 others.
3 others? 4 counting you. You're the 4th one on that one.
And one of them my brother.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The next one is your brother, and he was inducted, I believe, Sam, back in 1999.
99, yes.
Now, Truman, you were inducted, like we said, on July the 11th of this year, and that ceremony took place where?
Nashville, Tennessee, the Gaylord Motel.
Up there where they have it, associated with Opryland, I believe, up there.
Yeah, Opryland is connected on to it.
Now, you've been officiating a good number of years. I believe, what is it, about 50-something years?
55.
55 years, my.
Football, yeah.
In football, you've been doing 55 years. I was present when they did the interview with you for the Hall of Fame video that was done, and the lady who was doing that asked you some numbers, and you, just to make sure I got these right. And we're going to be talking varsity only. We're not talking JV and middle school games here. You did a total of 872 varsity football games. Basketball, you did 2,297. Baseball, it was over 3,000, and softball was over 1,700. So just varsity games alone, that's over 7,800 varsity ball games.
A lot of them.
That's a lot of them. And
Yes,
if you
sir.
throw in the little league and you throw in the middle school and JV, that's a ton of games.
You don't know how I did it.
Well, you was telling me an interesting story a while ago about the first fee you got for doing football. You remember what it was?
Yes, sir. $11 at Ford High School.
Over at Ford High School.
Ford High School.
Oh my, it's quite a bit of change from that
It
now.
certainly is.
You get mileage now too, don't you?
Oh, last game got about $170, so it's a little difference.
Yeah. Now, also as far as varsity goes, you've had your share of state football championships. I believe it was 34 football championship games and 23 in basketball. So
Yes.
that's a right smart number for an official. I know the years that I did it, I got 1 state championship game in basketball. So that's hard to get those too.
Well, I worked with you a time or two and enjoyed that. Yes, sir.
Well, I enjoyed working with you, and you know, everybody talks about all the games you did, but from my standpoint, I think your biggest legacy of both you and your brother, because you both were real big into this, is mentoring and improving other officials.
Enjoyed that as much as I've ever enjoyed anything.
That probably meant, I know, going back to the meetings that we have, talking to the various different sports, between you and Sam, you tell your share of war stories, but they always had a point behind them to help us to learn. And then the sessions out here on your front porch deck, where we go over rules and stuff like that. I've been through many of those too.
Yes, sir. I had experience with this when I was a young fella. Didn't have a whole lot to do, got involved in sports, and I had some older ones that helped me, and I know what it means. So helping younger kids, I felt so good about it, and I think they did a little better by getting into sports and this type thing, and I just feel so good about being able to keep them off the streets, keep them busy. So.
Well, that's appreciated, because I know not only officiating, but like I said, you coached Little League and all back in the early years too, as well as officiating. Now, let's go back to the ceremony just a little bit, back up at the Gaylord Hotel. You were not the only one inducted. You were telling me earlier some of the other athletes that were inducted along with you, officials and coaches and so forth. You want to mention a couple of those real quickly?
Yes, sir. Kevin Johnson, he was NBA and drafted by Cleveland, and he played for Phoenix. He averaged 17.9 career. For his career, 5 times All-NBA and all-time leader, assist and free throw. He was in the championship series with against Jordan. What's his first name?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Yeah. He's also mayor of Sacramento, California. And then I had another young fella that was inducted with me also in sports. He was in the NBA for many years. He played with Indiana, Chicago, Minnesota. He led the NBA in 3-point goals in 2:05. The other one that I was really admired was Pat Sullivan, former Heisman Trophy Award winner from Auburn in 1971. Had many other past inductees in the South Carolina Hall of Fame. I can't mention all of them now, but I was really impressed with the many numbers that were there that I felt like I was let out of place with all these big-time folks. So.
Well, again, it was very well deserved, but not only did you have all the celebrities there, but I understand you had a pretty good contingent of followers, friends, family went with you up there from South Carolina, too.
I had 11 family members and 10 officials, and that meant so much to me for them to take their time to go all the way to Nashville and be there and supporting me. And won't never forget those fellas. That's the thing about officials, too. I know somebody in South Carolina, just about every town through officials and coaches. 98% of them great. You know, you got a few that's not, but 98% of them are great. And it's just like a band of brothers, fraternity, and I just enjoyed over the years meeting all these. They still call them, they'll be right there if I ever need them.
I can.
You one of them.
I can amen the part on Band of Brothers, because even now that I'm wearing a little bit different hat as a sports broadcaster, it's very hard for me to say anything negative about officials. They really got to blow one bat before I'm going to say anything about it. And I catch grief from some of my compatriots in the broadcasting industry that say I always take the officials' point of view. I say, well, until you walked in their shoes, don't say nothing.
That's good. All coaches should have to do that before they start coaching. Before I got into officiating, I used to criticize them too. I thought I knew everything. I got in there, I found out I didn't know very little about rules and whatnot. I don't ever criticize one anymore. I'm retired. I'm going to watch Clinton High play now. Fans will ask you, I won't never criticize an official.
You like me, I give general answers to questions, but nothing specific.
That's right, yes, sir.